Travels with the Mystic Master by Acharya Dharma Vedananda Avadut. Chapter Nothing Beyond Infinity. Lyon, France. Though we had a yoga house here, the Margis deemed it unfit for Baba's stay. Instead, they arranged a hotel suite for him. On arriving at the hotel, Baba hammered his word into Dada Ramanand. Have I come here to stay in a hotel? Am I a bag of luggage to be stored away between darshans? Nonsense, he steamed. You are the culprit here. You approved the schedule and all the facilities. See to our shifting to the Jagrati Yoga House immediately. I shall not unpack my bag here. I felt bad because it was not really Ramanandji's fault. But Baba, there is no attached path for you there. It will be highly inconvenient. It will be highly inconvenient. Highly inconvenient, he mimicked in a high falsetto. I'm not here for a vacation. I'm here to work and to be with the Margis. If we are not out of here in 5 minutes, and his voice trailed off into a mumble. It was a fact that there was no attached bathroom for him in the yoga house. Setting up a portable toilet next to his room solved part of the problem. For bathing, however, he had to walk through almost all the other rooms to reach the bathroom near the front door. Margis and workers were of course sitting everywhere. Considering that he took a full bath at least 3 times a day, this was indeed an inconvenience. Nevertheless, while staying in the Jagrati, Baba's mood could not have been sweeter. 2 days later, in the morning, before field walk, the Didi in charge of his kitchen handed me a basket containing 3 thermos jugs, water, juice and milk. Because I was extremely busy preparing for the field walk, I passed the basket to one of the security volunteers and requested him to bring it to the car. During the walk, Baba drank nothing. After returning, he requested milk. Moments later, a distraught Ramanandji came to me. What did he do to the milk? Nothing. What's the matter? When I offered a cup to it to Baba, he smelled it and said, it's gone sour. I've seen this sort of thing before. It happens only when the food or drink for Baba is handled carelessly, disrespectfully. But I think Didi, myself and the guard were all meticulous. It was a great problem. When Baba refused the milk, I suggested that another cup would be prepared. But he said, it will violate our time schedule, so leave it. This is very, very bad. That's why I want to find the cause. You have to check it and report to me within 13 minutes. Unable to imagine the cause, I spoke to Didi and the guard, but both claimed their behavior had been proper. I sat down to think. A minute later, the guard came back saying, Dada, do you think that anything might have happened because of where I put the basket? What? Didn't you carry it directly out to the car after I gave it to you? Yes, but no. Well, in fact, as I was bringing it out the door, I remembered my hat. I put the basket down near the door and ran back to fetch my hat. But it was only a minute, Dadaji. Show me exactly where you put it. He pointed to the dusty area, packed with everyone's shoes. I understood and went to Ramanandji. This is surely the explanation, he said. Will you tell Baba? What for? He knows everything. Rather, he caused these incidents to happen, just to teach you. During the darshan, Baba said, suppose that a gentleman is undergoing fasting and secretly in a closed room he takes chocolate. The man says to himself, no one will know. Nobody will know. At this moment, one brother abruptly exclaimed, Oh, Baba! Baba continued, not so. His unit cognition will know that I've taken chocolate. And similarly, the cosmic father will also know that in a particular room, that unit body takes chocolate secretly. That unit body is still thinking, The fact that I took chocolate on fasting day is not known to anybody. It's known to everybody. Nothing is secret. Now suppose Anjala is thinking like this night I will not join the general darshan and I will sing Bhavanam Kevalam just on the footpath. But Anjala's thought waves will be known to the Supreme Father also. The Supreme Father says, "Oh, Anjala is thinking like this. Issue a banning order saying Anjala won't be allowed to attend general darshan. Nothing is secret." Afterwards, I asked the brother why he had reacted so suddenly to Baba's words about chocolate. Because he describes what happened to me and the exact words I was thinking on the last fasting day. Following the darshan, Baba said, "Everything in this universe is the mental creation of the Supreme Progenitor. As long as his mind is there, you are within his mind. He cannot say, get out of here. I don't want to see your face." He cannot say this, because in that case you can ask him, "Oh Lord, you say, get out, then where am I to go? Anywhere I go will still be within your mind." Now Anjala said, "Oh." Baba looked at her, continuing, "And, Lord, if you say get out, go beyond the periphery of my mind, then certainly, oh Lord, you are not infinite, because there is something beyond your mind. So just to maintain the prestige and dignity of your name, you are to tolerate what I do and what I think. And that's why it is your duty to guide me. I am your son. I am your daughter. I am to do according to your dictates." A well-deserved feast. Just before evening darshan, several Indian avduts and I were together in Baba's room when he said, "I am now going to tell you a story, but I prefer to speak in Bengali. If I were to tell it in English, it would lose some of its charm and much of its humor. Do you mind, Dharma Vedananda?" No, Baba. Of course I don't mind." "Good. Afterwards, Vijayanand will translate the story for you." I did get the translation and explained below, but during the talk, I had my own experience. Baba was in a chair while we sat on the floor at his feet. He was served a large glass of lemon water. A cloth napkin was tucked under his chin, which made him look a bit childlike. Since I did not understand much of what he said, I paid attention only to his physical actions. As he spoke, he gradually brought the glass closer and closer to his mouth. Just as he was about to drink, he said something which made the Dadas laugh. He also laughed and brought the glass back down without drinking. Continuing, he again slowly and continuously moved the lemon water towards his mouth, and just as he was about to drink, he came to another funny line, and laughing with everyone, he again brought the drink down. He did this repeatedly, which made me laugh every time. At the end of the story, the Dadas were laughing so hard that some of them were rolling on the floor holding their sides. At last, he brought the glass to his lips and, giving me a wink, drank the entire contents. As to the story, keeping in the mind that this translated version is missing many of the subtle Bengali nuances and all of his body language, it concerned his army days before India's independence from Great Britain. Since Baba was a corporal, the privates in his platoon frequently complained to him about their selfish sergeant. The food the privates got was very poor, while the sergeant ate well and never shared a crumb with them. One day, Baba said to the sergeant, "Sir, I know this jungle area well. I passed part of my youth nearby. I want to advise you about a most important point. Yes, go ahead, the surgeon said. I'm all ears. There are dangerous jackals roaming here. They are capable of killing a man and taking him for supper. Opening his eyes wide, the sergeant said, Then what shall we do? Are there any precautions we can take? Generally, these jackals attack in the middle of the night. Before attacking, however, they make a slight coughing sound. If we hear that sound, we must not alert the animal to our presence by moving. Do you understand? Corporal Sarkar, I depend on you to get us through this region alive. Don't worry, sir. For maximum security, it will be the best that I sleep in your tent. By all means, please do so. That night, Baba slept next to the sergeant. About 3 in the morning, Baba woke him up and whispered, Listen. What is it? Exclaimed the anxious sergeant. Shh, quiet, he said. A soft cough could be heard. Is it? Yes, it's surely a jackal, he whispered. Oh God, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Quiet, hissed Baba. Another sound was heard. I say, what's that? said the sergeant. It seems he's entered my supply tent. Shh, quiet, sir, please. Then a clicking sound. By God, I think he's getting right into my tiffin box. Sir, you'll give us away, whispered Baba. What? Oh, I can hear the rustle of my bag of chana chura, spicy snack. Do keep quiet, sir. I say, it sounds like he's taking my satchel of dried fruits and nuts. Sir, please. Oh Lord, I'm sure that's the sandesh, milk sweets. You'll get us killed, sir. Oh heaven, save me, the cakes. Baba grabbed his shoulder, whispering, Get a hold of yourself, sir. You've absolutely got to hush up. Don't even move. The sergeant lay there, unmoving, but his eyes were filled with horror, hearing the sounds from the supply tent. At last, there was silence. 10 seconds, 20 seconds. The sergeant jumped up, saying, He must be gone. I'll just see. He ran out. Oh, Mother Mary, he yelled from the supply tent. That jackal's taken every last drop of my eatables. God damn him. Baba walked in, saying, Sir, really? How can you care for such a small matter when here we stand alive? Oh damn, you're right, but, and mumbling beneath his breath, he went back into his tent. Baba looked in, saying, Sir, better I survey around to ensure the creature's really gone. Very well, sighed the sergeant. Then Baba went to the private's tent to join them in their well-deserved feast. A piece of history. During the darshan, Baba said, in the prehistoric world, on this globe of ours, the first language that was spoken was about 6 million years ago. The language came, but the intellectual standard was very poor. At that time, even the forefathers of present human society, those apes and proto-apes, were not here. Modern humans came about 1 million years ago. They had language, but at that time their intellectual standard was also very poor. As the intellectual standard was low, the vocabulary was also very poor. Even amongst the developed species of apes, the vocabulary is about 600 words. And in the most undeveloped species of humans, the vocabulary is a little more than 900, whereas in the more modern French language, the vocabulary is more than 400,000. Nothing can make me move. The next day at 9 a.m., I was in the workers' room, resting on my back with my eyes closed. Nearly a month had passed, and now only 3 days remained of his program in Berlin sector. I was exhausted, thoroughly and totally. Having had minimal sleep, minimal meditation, minimal food, and maximum stress during this period, I thought, how can I continue for another 3 days? I love Baba and even love this work, but it's too much. Would that this were the last day? I'm so tired. I'm too tired to even move my hand. I can't even move a muscle. Nothing can be possibly make me move now. Just in that moment, somebody said, Baba! The room rippled with excitement and surprise. Suddenly realizing that Baba had entered, I jumped straight to my feet within a fraction of a second. Baba walked up to me. He gave me that mischievous smile which showed his dimples but not his teeth. Though he had said nothing, I distinctly caught his thought. Nothing can possibly make you move. Ha! The great good of deportation. Milano Airport, Italy, June 4th. There were 13 of us in Baba's entourage. We passed through immigration procedures normally. All the passports were stamped for entire entry into Italy. Just as we were beginning the customs check, an official ran up to us. Please, I'm sorry, please let me have your passports again. Without the slightest idea of the cause of this abnormal treatment, we collected our passports and gave them to him. We walked back with him to the immigration area and watched, horrified, as he stamped all the passports again. Over the entry permits, he stamped cancelled. He gave no explanation and requested us to sit down. All of us were running in different directions, talking to any and every officer that we could find, trying to get an explanation and to reverse this shocking mistreatment. I felt especially responsible because I was the only one of the group who could speak a fair bit of Italian. After a few minutes of this pandemonium, I suddenly became aware that Baba was acting in a way I had never seen before. He was sitting alone, looking at nobody and turning both forefingers and one foot in small circles, surely mudras to manipulate the circumstances. The action was similar to that I had seen done by other tantrics who were tapping some occult power. Afterwards, I tried to imitate the movements but couldn't do it. I understood that he was in full control of what was happening and wanted it to proceed exactly as it was. Knowing that nothing I could do would affect his plan, I straightaway sat down next to him. Under the influence of his energy, I became calm and meditative. After another hour, we were led to a shuttle bus. Everyone was talking excitedly except for me. I stood next to Baba, who appeared completely serene. We got on a plane and flew back to France. At no point did any official offer an explanation for our deportation. When we arrived back at Lyon airport, I telephoned the yoga house. Only one Dada and 3 full-timers were there. All the other Margis had either gone home or were travelling to Italy for Baba's program. Of course, that Dada was shocked, but he arranged 3 cars to fetch us. While waiting for the cars, I stood next to Baba, offering what little security I could provide. Ignoring my intention to do my job, he said, "Sit down, Dharmavedananda." Like a small boy, I happily put my stick down and sat next to him. As he turned to speak to me, he accidentally brushed his hand against my shoulder and said, "Oh, pardon me." I laughed and said, "You are welcome to do it again, Baba." He smiled. I was happy, together with Baba, oblivious of whatever complications we were undergoing. "Tell me, Dharma Vedananda, what is the great good which will come out of this deportation?" I was surprised at his question. I thought for a moment and then replied, "I don't really know, Baba, but I suppose the hundreds of devotees who were waiting for you in the Milano airport are now frustrated and disappointed. They'll surely feel very bitter towards their own government, and they will better understand how corrupt their system is. As a result, they'll be much more encouraged to work hard for the establishment of a society guided by spiritual morality." He said, "Yes, you understand a little something." The cars arrived. Baba entered one car and I entered another. For the first time in several hours, I was separated from him. For the first time, I started to think in a normal way. As we drove down the highway towards the yoga house, I turned gloomy. My mind sank deep within itself, and in that moment I remembered the thought I had had in the morning while lying on the floor. How can I continue another 3 days? Would that this were the last day? Oh, why did I think such a stupid thing? Now here it was happening according to my idiotic wish. His flight to Bombay was already fixed for the evening. I was so sad that I started to weep softly. I thought, "Baba, I miss you already." Then I thought, "Please, you have to give me last chance to be alone with you again. Please, when you can call to massage you, let it be me." This thought ran on uncontrollably until we arrived at the yoga house. As we entered, the place seemed deserted compared with how it had been when we left that morning. Already most of the decorations had been taken down, and in every corner lay the remains of a yet uncompleted cleaning effort. Baba entered his room. I sat on the floor alone with my sorrow. After a few minutes, he came out and went for his bath. When he returned to his room, I continued to sit alone, sure that he would soon summon me. Ramanandji came out saying, "Karunanandji, Baba is calling you for massage." What was this? I was so much into my own world that I never considered that he might call another worker. I became distraught and dismayed. A moment later, Karunanandji opened the door and rushed out, saying, "Dharma Vedanandji, Baba is calling for you to come also. The electric fan is not working for some strange reason, so you should fan him with." He did not know what to use as a fan. I grabbed a newspaper, ran into his room, and started fanning him with it. Meanwhile, Karunanandji also came back to do the massage. Baba was in blissful state. I was now as high as I had been down a few moments before. At first, Baba was in a quiet mood. He began speaking about the suffering he and his mission had undergone from the very time of his childhood. But his voice carried no resentment. It had all been necessary and ultimately good. Then he returned to the present. What is the cause of the deportation? I believe the Indian government fed bad information about Ananda Maga to the Italian government, Karunanandji said. Well, it may be, Baba said, with eyes half closed. Then he opened his eyes and said, "But it may be a religious institution." He told the exact name of that institution. We were both surprised. Though he said it may be a religious institution, we understood him to mean that it definitely was the institution. You see, some priest, he said, teach the people to think, I'm a sinner, Lord, save me, I'm a sinner. Thus, they infuse inferiority complex. Even if one is not a sinner, praying like this, identifying with sin, he or she will become a sinner. Today's young people don't like this approach. Whereas Anandamaga gives a revolutionary call to the youth, we say that everyone should think, I am the son or I am the daughter of the Supreme Father. Lord, no matter what I have done, you have to take me on your lap. He was silent for a few moments. Then he sat up, looking serious, and said, why do they fear us? By his word, we understood he was no longer talking about any single religious institution, but rather of all the people and groups that fear Anandamarga. The question was rhetorical, so we did not try to answer. Then Baba continued, they fear us because we are, bracket in some aspects, better than the Hindus in philosophy, better than the Christians in social service, better than the Jews in orthodoxy, better than the Buddhists in morality, better than the Muslims in social equality, better than the Jains in asceticism, and better than the communists in mobility. That's why they fear us. In the evening, some of the local Magis came. As usual, a large procession formed, accompanying Baba to the airport. But this time, he was not traveling on another leg of the journey. He was leaving us. I was so involved in the arrangements that it again slipped my mind that the final moment was approaching. I remained busy until Baba began the passport check. Though I was not flying, I somehow managed to enter the passengers only area. I walked next to Baba in silence. As each moment passed, I became more heavy-hearted. Finally, he and the others entered the gate to board the plane. I forced myself to smile at him. He smiled back and gave a slight wave of his hand. Then he turned the corner and was out of sight. I walked some distance to where I could be alone and cried. The next day, at mid-morning, completely exhausted from the tour, I sprawled out on the floor and fell asleep. Dada Veda Prajanananda told me afterwards, when I walked by what I thought was a near mindless Dharma Vedanand, I was surprised to hear you talking in your sleep. You called out, where can we take Baba tonight for field walk? Just for fun, I decided to answer you and said, we can take him along the Rhone River, thinking that would be the end of it. But, still sleeping, you replied, no, we can't take him there. He was there yesterday. Dada Karunandaji told me, when we were still in Milano airport, but it was clear that all our efforts would go nowhere and that we would surely be deported. I asked Baba, they don't allow us. What should we do? Baba said, what can we do? We will go back. And then he put his hand on his nephew Paltu's shoulder. He was a bit tired and said, there's nothing wrong with the people of Italy. There's something wrong with the government. I said, Baba, I'm so sorry. We could have organized better for you. But Baba said to me, what did you say? Sorry? Why sorry? You should never be sorry. When I was leaving Bombay, I decided that I would give 35 discourses during this tour. The 35th discourse was completed last night in Lyon, so I knew that I would not be able to speak further in Verona. Still, I came here up to Milano airport and I am going back from here. There is some reason why I came and why I am going back.